So it starts as her original. I have to touch this up. At which point we pull a silicone rubber mold to get the right thickness. It'll have seams that open it up so that we can pull a wax replica out once we get one. So this is a piece that we can see as we move through the process. This is the small Take My Hand, the boy. You can kind of see the outline of him. So what we do is then we pour, it's around 165 degrees or so, wax into here and create a wax replica of her original. Okay. It looks just like her original, but it happens to be in wax. And this, we'll use this same mold, the same rubber mold, for the entire edition, however that may be. For Corinne's pieces, that's 95 on the tabletop and usually 40 on the big ones. So we will pour all 95 out of the same mold and make to do what is called gating, which is once you see those cast, the bronze pours through here, and that's what feeds the metal to the actual sculpture itself. These will get removed, the gates will get removed, the piece will get put back together, trying to make it look like we never took it apart to begin with. What we're doing is creating what is called the investment, which is this white, high-fire, hard ceramic material. It coats and protects the wax. It also provides the shell that the bronze is going to pour into when we cast it. Notice the lost wax process, thus the wax gets removed, leaves a hollow shell, bronze fills that gap. And then we end up with a bronze replica just like the original, slightly smaller. So from here, this is where we're creating that investment, and you go through a layer of different layered coats. Anything from a super fine, this is zircon sand, super baby fine, super heavy, but it picks up all the detail. It'll pick up fingerprints, it'll pick up every detail that the artist put into the original. Goes through a sequence of between 8 and 14 coats of slurry, what we call slurry, depending on the detail, how big it is, how much weight it has to withstand when we go to cast it. It obviously has to be strong enough to hold potentially 100 pounds of metal being poured in there. So, have a couple different vats of what we call slurry. It's a colloidal silica coated with a silica sand. So, and all the way up to something as coarse as, you know, pretty big chunks. Basically straight silica, which is glass. Got a foot pedal. Goes from a greenish color to a more muted yellow color, and that means that it's dry. It's got to be dry in between each coat for it to be able to seal the layers together. Otherwise what happens is the bronze will kind of force its way through the weaker layers and potentially can lose a casting because that has to start over. So here's one of Corinne's pieces, the Secret Set. It has been cleared So it'll be ready to flash, ready to cast. They take metal, bury it in the ground. Actually, they used to bury it in highly acidic places, urinate on it, different things like that, because there's compounds and chemicals in there that obviously are acidic enough to react with the metal and create color changes. So that green that you get in a traditional copper piece that is weathered outside when you travel Europe and whatnot is a reaction with the acids in the air, pulls the copper nitrates out of the bronze metal, brings it to the surface and creates what you call a patina. So what we do here obviously with new stuff is try to manufacture whatever finish an artist wants. In Corinne's case, she does it, it's very simple, very straightforward. It's a oxidized with sulfur, sulfurated potash, which is what Joe's going to do first. And then it is scrubbed back to remove all the sulfur from the high spots, leave it just in the recesses to create the shadows and bring out the texture. And then it is heated to pull the moisture out, scrubbed again to get rid of any discoloration in the metal from the heating. And then it gets clear coated and waxed, and they're done. A couple of her pieces have some color on them, so we'll add some oxides, some pigments, different stuff like that for the butterflies, the flowers, different things like that. We see color with her pieces. But otherwise hers is a very straightforward, just oxidized, almost a, we wouldn't call it a raw bronze, but what we'd call just a natural bronze finish is what we call it. But patina traditionally is a lot of nitrates, chemical reactions with the metal that create the browns, the greens. A lot of the really vibrant colors that you'll see on some bronzes today are usually going to be acrylics. You can paint it as if it was a canvas, almost, and then clear coat it and go from there. And they're all durable, basically, so it's not an issue of whether they're durable or not. It's just